What up, guys? Today we're gonna go over we went over basic tools. If you ain't seen that video, I'll post the link in the description. But now we're going over small engine tools, more like service tools like valve tools and stuff like that, what you would need for rebuilding and service the internals of an engine. We'll start with this is a there's two different types of valve spring compressors. You got the C-clamp kind, which works great for overhead valves. Right here, you just put that on there and you pop it open and you can get the keepers off. And then you got this style, which I use on flatheads. Sorry guys. Both styles work great. I just use this for flatheads and this for overhead valves. These both work great. I'll find the link to where you can buy these. I'm pretty sure you can find these on Amazon. But for this style, what you do is it's adjustable. All this is adjustable, and you can get it down on the spring and press that spring down, and then you can get the the valve keepers off to remove the valves. Ring expander for putting rings around the pistons. This works great for putting the rings on the piston without breaking them. I would recommend having a pair of these. And then of course a ring compressor, so you can compress your rings on your piston when you slide it down on, so when you put it back in, it'll keep your rings compressed, and then you'll take something, a rubber mallet or something, and just kind of knock it down in there, and this keeps them good and compressed until they're down in the cylinder. So this is a must-have if you're rebuilding an engine. A hone, there's two different kinds of hones. I only got this style hone, but there's also the ball style hone. Some people like to use better. If you're gonna, oh, hold on, I forgot set tools. Give me 1 second. I forgot some tools to put in the video. Okay. So then when you put the for the cylinder, you would hone. I get a crosshatch pattern in there to help lubricate the rings. Something I don't have here, and I need to buy one. I rented the last time I had to rebuild an engine, was a cylinder ridge reamer, which is sometimes your what they leave the piston and stuff wears reams, and you have to remove that ream to get it up the top of the piston, or the top of the top of the cylinder, to get the piston to slide down in there. But that's what this hone is. You use this hone to put the cross the hash pattern into your cylinder for your rings. I don't have nothing to rebuild right now, but when I do rebuild one, I will make a video on using this. But since we're talking about that, if you're rebuilding an engine, you need to use some bore gauges and a micrometer to check the trueness of it. Make sure it's in spec. If it's not in spec, you'll have to get it bored out to next size up. So a micrometer and bore gauges is pretty important too. I forgot, since we were talking about valve spring compressors, if you're doing valves, you need a filler gauge to set your valve clearance, your gap. So this is important. Definitely got to have your valve spec and gap. Too much is a bad. Too much or too little is not good. This is the test on a Briggs & Stratton. I don't have too many OEM specialty tools, but this would be the check the valve guides on a Briggs & Stratton old flathead engine. It also comes with you can buy this by itself, or you could buy it in one of these valve guide kit install kits I got right here. Compression tester. Depends on the engine. I don't always recommend. Well, compression testers are needed, especially with 2 strokes. But if you got an ACR, I know I've talked about this a few times in a video. If you got an ACR, you can try to spin your engine backwards and get the reading or whatever. But a cylinder leak down test would give you a better reading, and it will also help you pinpoint where it's leaking. If it's a head gasket, rings, valves, it would pinpoint where it's leaking at. So I have a few other videos on that. I'll have a video on that. I'll put a link down in the bottom too. Seal remover. You can also use a screwdriver. Use screwdrivers plenty of times before getting this seal remover. This is just a cheap Harbor Freight one. Works. Gasket scraper. Scraping off gaskets. So you have a clean surface. What else? Oh, I've laid out this one part of the video. Okay, but there's other specialty tools. I don't have all the specialty tools. There's lots of other specialty tools, but this is some of the basic. Oh, valve lapper, so you're gonna seat your valves in. I don't have all the. Unfortunately, I could use a valve cutter, seat cutter. But this is the basic tools you would need rebuilding engines and doing them right. Is your valve spring compressors, your piston ring compressor, ring expander, valve lapper, bore gauges, and micrometer, valve scraper or gasket scraper, seal puller. But yeah, this is just the basic, some of the basic stuff that you need to rebuild engines. I mean, before I had valve spring guide compressors, I used to have to take a screwdriver and try to push those up. This is a lot easier. It saves a lot of time next to using a screwdriver and trying to put those keepers in. Anyway, this is just a look at some basic engine tools. You need small engine tools for rebuilding small engines and servicing small engines. So thanks again for watching, guys. Thanks for watching, guys, and hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again, guys.